It's International Fight Week. We have two title fights. One with a rising star attempting to cement his legacy by winning a title in his second weight class against a Brazilian legend attempting to win the lightweight championship for the second time. Another title fight featuring a man who's beaten nearly everyone at the top of his weight class multiple times, having yet another rematch against one of the most exciting strikers in the flyweight division. And of course, because MMA is the sport we chose to love, we're spending all week talking about John Jones. I'm Jeff McCrum. I watch MMA sometimes. UFC 317 live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. International Fight Week. We have one of the biggest fight cards of the year. It's one that I'm really excited about. Some quick housekeeping. First of all, we're not going to be doing a really long form recap of UFC Baku because it really doesn't deserve it. It was a lot of really boring fights, unfortunately. But definitely check out Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Mata. That was a fight of the year contender. We're very happy we went 6-0 in our main card picks. We're killing it. I picked Khalil Roundtree. Feel great about that. Let's move on. Now, also, going forward with event previews, I'm introducing a new grading system. It isn't going to be your standard letter grade, not going to be your standard star system. That's played out. That's boring. Here's your I Watch MMA Sometimes grading system going forward. Best possible grade you can get on a fight? Banger. Term's way overused. I get it. I will be very judicious with this. But if a fight's a banger, it's a banger. It's relevant in the division. It's exciting. It's something that we've been anticipating for a long time. That's a certified banger. Then you got pretty good. This could apply to just like a really solid undercard fight, a fight that you know is going to be a lot of action, a fight that's really high level, just not quite to banger status, but still a fight that you're anticipating, absolutely worth your time. Then you've got, okay, that's the way I say it. It's very different from okay, which is the next rating, but okay. This fight could feature a prospect that we're really interested in. It could be something where we know that it's possibly going to end in a quick finish, or both guys are interesting, but like not quite contenders yet. It's going to be, the dichotomy between okay, there's going to be fights that are borderline. Some people might think a fight's okay, and some people might think it's pretty good. Some people might think that a fight that I think is a banger is just pretty good. That's where debate comes in. That's where y'all can comment and tell me that I'm wrong and that I'm an idiot, and that's okay. Next ranking, second to worst rating you can get. And this is a pretty positive ranking system in my opinion. I'm not trying to crap all over fights and fighters. I mean, I understand wanting to because there's going to be a lot of cards coming up. We were in a pretty good stretch right now, but there's going to be cards coming up where it's like an apex card, and I'm going to be giving out a lot of okays and garbages, I'm sure. But second to worst rating is going to be okay. Not terribly exciting fight, not a fight that I'm jonesing for all week, but it's solid. It belongs in the UFC. I'm not mad at it. That's just going to be okay. Then you have garbage. Worst possible rating I can give a fight. It's a sloppy heavyweight fight. It's two guys coming in on short notice fighting each other. There's a fight on this card that unfortunately falls under that category. Something crazy happens. CM Punk comes back to fight in the UFC. Yeah, that's garbage. That's not UFC quality. And hey, prove me wrong. If two debuting guys come in and put on a fight of the year candidate or two and hey, I'm an idiot, whatever, but prove me wrong. Garbage until proven otherwise. All right, so with that being said, we're going to start our new voyage with the UFC 317 main event. Ilia Topuria moving up to lightweight, vacating the featherweight title, taking on former champion, the legend, Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. And you already know, this one's a certified banger. I know we all wish that it was Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, but we have to do weird divisional stuff. Islam Makhachev vacates the lightweight title, moves up to welterweight. He's going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena later in the year for the welterweight title. I think this is the best fight they could have made, like for box office and for potential excitement. I know that in a sporting sense, Arman Sarukian is more deserving of a title shot. He's defeated Charles Oliveira. He had to pull out of the title fight against Islam Makhachev earlier in the year on very short notice due to a back injury. Super unfortunate. I hope Sarukian gets back in there soon. But I think for fan excitement and for potential fireworks in the octagon, this is the best possible fight they could have made. That being said, I it's a tough fight to call. Ilia Topuria has ran through everybody he's fought in the UFC at featherweight. He ran through Alexander Volkanovski like it was nothing, and to this day, that's still extremely difficult to do. I mean, he just defeated Diego Lopez. He's the featherweight champion once again. He's still one of the best fighters in the UFC. Then he knocked out Max Holloway, which is just not a thing people do. To knock out Max Holloway is insanely impressive. However, that was at featherweight. He's moving up to lightweight. He's fought at lightweight once before. He fought Jai Herbert, and it was a really good fight. It was way too close of a fight, in my opinion. Topuria ended up winning, but in my opinion, in that Herbert fight, he looked pretty small for the division. Herbert really rocked him. Um, and Herbert's a solid fighter, but frankly, he's not close to the top 15 at this point, and I don't think he ever will be. Charles Oliveira is one of the best lightweight fighters in UFC history. He leads the UFC in finishes. He has defeated names like Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler. He he's been in the UFC for 15 years, and he's a big lightweight. He fought at featherweight before. He should have never been fighting at featherweight. It was foolish of him. It took way too long. He was way too stubborn to finally move back up to lightweight. And then when he did, ever since then, he's been on the run of his career, basically since 2018. He His striking has improved so much. He is dangerous on the feet and he's still insanely dangerous on the ground. And if he starts out striking Topuria on the feet, Topuria is not going to want to go to the ground with Charles Oliveira. I know that he's had success on the ground against other fighters at featherweight that he wasn't thought to have success on the ground against, but lightweight's a whole different kettle of fish. I'm actually going with the big upset here. I'm going to take Charles Oliveira to defeat Ilia Topuria. And hey, if Topuria ends up winning this fight, I'm not sure I can ever pick against Ilia Topuria again. This guy's exceeded all expectations from the start of his UFC career. If he comes in and becomes a two-division champion, I won't be mad at it. He's quickly become one of the most exciting stars the UFC has to offer. I'm sure they're hoping he wins the fight. But people really love Charles Oliveira too. Charles Oliveira is a cult hero, and people would be happy if he won as well. But I'm going to go with the big upset. He's almost a 4-1 underdog, Oliveira, which is insanely disrespectful to me. I know people are hyped on Topuria, but give me Chucky Olives. Somehow he'll find a way. In the co-main event, we have the UFC Flyweight Championship on the line. Alexandre Pantoja, Alex Pants, taking on Kai Kara France. This one's also a certified banger. Excellent fight. These two fought in 2016 in the Tough House, one of the best Tough seasons ever when they got all of those regional flyweight champions in the Tough House. Winner of the season got a title shot against Mighty Mouse. That's what Tough should be. Like, bring in a bunch of regional champs and then high quality guys, not just 3-1 rando middleweights. I digress. Alexandre Pantoja won that fight in the Tough House. Kai Kara France, he's coming off of one win, knocked out Steve Ursig in the first round last year in Australia. He's before that he lost 2 fights in a row, but he's always dangerous. He's a very dangerous striker. He's got really solid takedown defense. We saw that in the fight with Askar Askarov, where he was a heavy underdog, but he stuffed all of Askarov's shots and outstruck him. Pantoja, people don't talk about his legacy as much as I think they should because he's a quiet guy, Brazilian fighter. He just goes out and wins most of the time. If he keeps defending the title like this, he's rapidly approaching potentially coming close to Mighty Mouse's legacy at flyweight. I never thought anybody could ever come close to Mighty Mouse at flyweight. Pantoja's coming close. He's not getting arm bars in the middle of the air in the fifth round. He's not doing these last second heroics like Mighty Mouse was doing in fights, but the man just wins a lot. He had to beat a lot of people before he got his title shot, which is a common theme among a lot of UFC champions lately, having to run through the entire division before finally getting a title fight. He is up. I think he's already the second best flyweight of all time. And look, do I think he's gonna beat Mighty Mouse's title defense record and become known as the best flyweight of all time? No. But when a guy like Mighty Mouse exists, second's pretty damn good. I think he beats Kai Kara France. I think he could honestly find a way to finish it, especially if it goes to the ground. Kai Kara France has shown he's vulnerable to submissions when he's unable to defend takedowns. It's a solid fight, though. I could see Kai Kara France doing better than people expect, keeping it on the feet, hurting Pantoja on the feet. But Pantoja is just on a hell of a run right now. It's hard for me to see him losing this fight to Kai Kara France. Alexandre Pantoja will win. All right, now third from the top on the main card, we have the number one ranked men's flyweight, Brandon Royval, the Raw Dog, taking on the 12th ranked Joshua Van. And I'm going to go ahead and call this one a banger too. I was debating on whether it's a banger or pretty good, but this one's a banger, man. Like, if Joshua Van wins this fight, he's 23 years old, and he should be challenging for the title next if he wins this fight. He's taking it on short notice. He just knocked out Bruno Silva in devastating fashion a few weeks ago at UFC 316. This would be a meteoric rise for Van. It's John Jones level of being this young of a fighter and rocketing up contention this quickly. And his style, he is such an exciting striker. His game is getting more well-rounded. He's must-see TV every time he fights. And so is Brandon Raw Dog Royval. He has such an unhinged fighting style. He's just beaten Brandon Moreno and Tatsuro Taira, Mr. I'm Happy Thank You, one of my favorite prospects in the UFC. This fight, if Brandon Royval should win, I'm going to pick Brandon Royval. However, if Joshua Van does win, that is great for the flyweight division. Pantoja versus Van, if Pantoja wins, would be one of the most exciting flyweight title fights in a very long time, in my view. So it'd be great for the UFC if Van won. I just think Royval is going to be a bit too much too soon. But I think for as long as this fight lasts, it is going to be an insane war. But that being said, Brandon Royval. All right, then next on the main card at lightweight, we have Beneil Dariush versus Hanato Mani Moicano. This one's pretty good. Two top 15 lightweights, number 9 versus number 11. Two guys that have been around for a long time. Both coming off of losses. Dariush has just been finished by Arman Tsarukyan and Charles Oliveira. Renato Moicano took the fight against Islam Makhachev on very short notice after Arman Tsarukyan pulled out and got finished. But this will be a good fight. If this was a fight night main event, nobody wouldn't complain about it. Both of these guys have similar games, both well-rounded for the division, both 36 years old. In fact, Dariush is 15 days older than Renato Moicano. They both just turned 36 in May. It's a tough fight to call, very even, very close, very similar styles. Both guys really good grapplers. Both guys can handle themselves on the feet. But I think Moicano is a slightly better striker, and Dariush's chin has been found quite a bit recently, and his chin has been checked in the past against guys who I think he's a better fighter than, like Alexander Hernandez and Ramsey Najem. I'm going to go with Renato Moicano to find Dariush's chin. Give me money. He's going to be talking about Austrian economics and why democracy sucks in his post-fight interview. It's going to be unhinged, but it's going to happen. Then opening up the main card, we have at bantamweight Peyton Talbot taking on Felipe Lima. I'm going to give this one an okay, but it's like about as high of an okay as I can give. These are both very intriguing prospects at bantamweight. I think this is an excellent main card opener. Should be a very exciting fight. Peyton Talbot is one of the most hyped prospects in the UFC. However, he just got his hype train derailed by Raoni Barcelos at the beginning of the year at UFC 311. However, I still think he has tons of potential. He's a great athlete. He has a relentless fighting style. He's got size for the division. And he's got star potential. Like, he's super charismatic. He's got cool tattoos. Good looking guy. People like him a lot. But the UFC did him no favors by matching him up against Felipe Lima. Felipe Lima, Brazilian, fighting out of Sweden with MMA All Stars, which is honestly a really underrated camp out of Sweden. He debuted in the UFC on very short notice, taking on Muhammad Naimov at featherweight and choked him out in the third round. And that is very impressive. Muhammad Naimov is a good prospect in his own right at featherweight. I think he could potentially be a top 10, top 15 fighter. And Felipe Lima just came right in and upset his apple cart. Then he defeated Miles Johns, looked very good in that fight. I think that Felipe Lima is going to win this fight. I think it's going to be exciting. I think Peyton Talbot just, the UFC did not do him any favors. I don't understand why they did this, if they really want to continue hyping him up, because Felipe Lima is a dog. He's a beast. I think that now Talbot could give, I think Talbot's going to make it a tough fight. I think it's going to be a close fight. Talbot has a relentless style. He has cardio for days, but so does Lima. And I just think Lima has slightly higher potential at this moment. Give me Felipe Lima. All right, now we're going to run through the prelims. Gregory Hobocop Rodriguez versus Jack Hermanson at middleweight. I'm going to give this one an okay with multiple A's. Both fringe top 15 middleweights. Both could easily be in the top 15. This one could have been an Apex headliner. There have been way worse, so it's okay. I'm going to say Gregory Rodriguez wins it with a pretty quick first round finish. This is a two true outcomes fight. Either Hermanson wins by a boring 29-28 or 30-27 decision by fighting at distance and frustrating Rodriguez, or Rodriguez smokes him very early. And just because Hermanson has not been a very active fighter since beating Joe Pyfer, and even before that, and Rodriguez is a really active fighter and just always in there, he's always getting reps in. Give me Rodriguez by knockout. Next, we have Hyder Emil versus Jose Delgado at featherweight. I'm also going to give this one an okay with multiple A's. I think that both of these dudes have shown that they're exciting featherweight prospects. Hyder Emil's 3-0 in the UFC, trains with Gilbert Melendez. He's already 35 years old, so if he wants to jump into contention, he's got to win this fight, and then hopefully he'll get top 15 or a fringe top 15 guy soon. I like his style. Delgado, he melts dudes. He's the favorite in this fight. I think the odds are being pretty disrespectful to Hyder Emil. Give me Hyder Emil. I think he finds a way to win, probably by decision. Then at women's flyweight, we have Tracy Cortez taking on Viviane Araujo. I'll give this one an okay with multiple A's. Leaning towards just giving it an okay, but they're both ranked. I don't think that the fight's going to be super exciting. I think it's going to be very close either way. It's going to be a 29-28 either way. Going to be a fight that people argue about the decision afterwards. Tracy Cortez has very good cardio. I think that she looked impressive in the later rounds against Rose Namajunas, especially taking that fight on such short notice and taking it at altitude, fighting in Denver. She's younger than Viviane Araujo by 7 years. She doesn't quite have the fight miles put on her like Araujo does. Give me Tracy Cortez in a very close decision. At lightweight, we have Terrence T Rex McKinney taking on Slavaklaus Vyacheslav Borshov. And strictly for excitement and chaos reasons, I'm calling this one pretty good. This is a don't blink fight. If this fight goes to decision, I will be shocked. This will end quickly and violently and probably in the favor of Terrence McKinney. McKinney's not a great fighter, but he has the power and explosiveness to take anybody out on any given night. And especially in a fight like this against Slava Claus, I think he smokes him. But there's also the possibility Slava Claus smokes him. So, super exciting fight. Don't blink. Give me T Rex. At heavyweight, we have Jonata Deniz versus Alvin Guzzi Hines. And I'm going to call this one garbage. Alvin Guzzi Hines took this fight on 3 weeks' notice, I believe. He fights out of the LFA. He's a heavyweight from Minnesota. I watched some of his fights to research because I'd never seen him fight before. He looks like he'd be a mediocre heavyweight in 2005. Jonata Deniz isn't a terrible fighter by heavyweight standards. He has good kickboxing for the division. He's fought in Glory. I think that he dispatches Hines pretty quickly. At least I hope he does, because if not, it'll be a very boring decision, most likely. At welterweight, we have Jacoby Smith taking on Nico Price. I'm going to give this one an okay. Jacoby Smith's a super intriguing prospect to me. Wrestled out of Oklahoma State, has dynamite in his fists. If he could be Johnny Hendricks without the Baconators. He hits very hard, and with that wrestling game to match with it, that's a solid base. I know welterweight's deep. Welterweight is a very hard division to break into, but with a pedigree like that, he's got insane potential. Nico Price has been in the UFC for a very long time, nearly 10 years. He's never a boring fighter. He is a kill or be killed type of guy. The man has so many kids. He's trying to put food on the table. I get it. I think Jacoby Smith dispatches him pretty easily. Give me Jacoby Smith. And in the prelim opener, we have two UFC debutantes going at it. At middleweight, we have, let me make sure I'm getting this right here, Christopher Ewert versus Jackson McVeigh. Christopher Ewert versus Jackson McVeigh. Yeah, this is garbage. This should be an LFA fight. This should be a Dana White's Contender Series fight. No disrespect to either of these guys. Neither of these guys look like terrible prospects on paper. They could have a good fight. I don't know, but this should have been an LFA or a Contender Series fight. The reason why this fight is happening is because Cedric S. Dumas had to pull out of his fight against Jackson McVeigh because he's not allowed to leave his house, because he has an ankle monitor on, because he was recently charged with home invasion and domestic violence. Super cool, UFC, that you're letting Cedricus Dumas fight when he's accused of something like that. Very credibly accused, by the way. He has a rap sheet with domestic violence like you wouldn't believe. This isn't an innocent till proven. I mean, innocent till proven guilty. I get it, but come on, stop it. And why are you giving this man fights? He sucks. He's not even a good fighter. I would be if if you're cynical, if he's like knocking fools out every week, I would kind of get it, but he's not even a good fighter. Why do you keep giving him fights? I digress. That unfortunately is more interesting to talk about than this fight. I'm not familiar with either of these fighters' games, unfortunately. This fight is coming together on super short notice. So go ahead, give me Christopher Ewert, but who knows? Thank you for watching my video, my UFC 317 preview. Please let me know in the comments what you think about my grading system. Please let me know if there's any tweaks I should make, what you want to hear from me going forward. Let me know what you think of my fight picks. I think I've had a decent month of June so far with my actual picks. And have a great fight week. I'll see you next time. Peace.